Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another edition of Unger the Radar, a very special edition because we're in a brand new studio here at Paradise Studios in Strong Island TV Radio. And I want to welcome a health guru and our new sponsor, Eileen Cohen-Reichman. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about your show and this beautiful studio.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to have you as well. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, let's see. I've been a lawyer for 36 years now, but during that time I achieved 2 nutritional degrees and a whole bunch of other holistic stuff. I'm a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team. And now I'm a doctoral candidate for natural medicine, which I should have, I'd say, by December.
Okay. And now I should have mentioned that the company you're involved with, Magnitude, it's a great company. Tell us a little bit about Magnitude.
Well, Magnitude Jewelry is something that everybody who is sitting in this room needs, because while you're in this room, from all this beautiful electronic equipment, you're getting electromagnetic
Even this right now,
frequencies, and that lovely iPad,
Right.
and every cell phone you've ever used in your life. You are getting off those devices how wonderful they are, what they call electromagnetic frequencies.
Okay.
Because we are all neurological, electrical beings, and as are these. And lately, because of the incidents from especially 4G to 5G, and all that means really is there's more current banging around. It's like a very bad pinball game. What that means is that you are absorbing that unless you have something to protect you, and that's what Magnitude does.
And now tell us a little about the jewelry, what's involved
Well,
with that.
This is a piece of the jewelry. It is magnetic jewelry, and it is interchangeable.
Okay.
You can use all these different stones. I'll show you some of the types of stones.
Okay.
We have what we call bases for men and women. This is what happens with live TV.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So these are some examples of the real crystals and real gemstones that you get with the jewelry. Very low price point, from $5 to $35.
Okay.
And some of the bases I'm wearing now, this is one. And as you can see, I can change it out for whatever look I want.
Nice.
This is another one.
And that's the fun part of Magnitude. You can interchange and
exactly.
many combinations.
Exactly. And there's a science behind this. It's not just pretty jewelry.
Yeah.
There are these balls on the back, and let me look at my notes just to make sure I get it right. There's a magnet right here. It's called a neodychromium magnet, and this is what, for lack of a better word, adds like a force field, if I can relate it to my lovely Star Trek years. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. Can't wait till the movie comes out.
Nice.
So this magnet sort of insulates you and puts you in a shield, almost like a magnetic magic shield. So that whatever is coming off your cell phone or the iPad or even the fluorescent lighting bounces off. Now, not just that, but there are these balls on the back, black, beige, and red. The red ball is infrared energy, and what that does is it promotes healing. And the other balls help with providing negative ions. You know, that good feeling like that you get when you're walking along the beach. And what negative ions do is they help your body produce serotonin. And then the beige balls assist with healing as well.
Wow.
And every piece has all this protection.
Now, how did you get involved with Magnitude? How did this all come about?
Well, I'm a big fan of entrepreneurship and of direct sales companies. And I kind of tripped over this on Facebook, on the internet. And I had the occasion to speak to the 2 founders of this jewelry, and actually visit them in their studio. One is Dr. Tracy Diner, and she was a very well-known chiropractor in Southern California, treating very famous people. I'm not allowed to say their names. And she partnered with Candice Leon, who is an international artist and designer. And the 2 of them came up with these pieces and the idea to make the jewelry.
That's very cool. So it's art and science combined.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And what also motivated me to really get involved with this company, because originally I would have just been a customer, is I do a lot of reading based on my background. I was an investigative attorney. I was an inspector general with the Department of Investigation, a prosecutor, all that stuff. So I read a lot and I want to know the answer.
Right.
Because it has to really work. It has to be out of integrity.
Sure.
Well, I read this article published by the National Institute of Health, which spoke about the incidence of brain cancer increasing in teenagers by 25% in the last 5 years, and they attributed
Cell
that to
phones.
the growing use of mommies and daddies buying their kids cell phones.
Yeah.
So I said, what can we do? Nobody wants to walk around with these heavy devices for your phone. So I found this jewelry, and it's amazing.
Wow.
Problems with EMFs are that you can have headaches, there can be depression, there can be skin rashes, fatigue. I found that when I started wearing this jewelry, I used to get migraine headaches. Headaches completely disappeared.
Really? When did you start wearing the products?
I'd say, well, it's a very new company. They launched in June.
Oh, okay.
So I'd say shortly after that, I just got involved, and I love the jewelry because, you know, I'm a girl. And we like pretty objects.
Nice.
But the fact that I'm so interested in health and it has a special quality, you can sort of justify its purchase. And the cool thing is that you can get these different tudes as low as $5 to change up your look.
That's awesome. So I know you've been involved with the health field for a while now. You've gone to events, some expos. Anything you want to talk about? Anything that stands out?
Well, we have 4 events coming up that I believe there's going to be a 4th. In September, we're going to be in 3 different places. On September 15th, my team will be at the Gaia Women's Health Festival at the Huntington Hilton.
Okay. On Long Island.
Right, on
Okay.
Long Island,
There
very
you
close
go.
by. We're inviting everybody to stop by.
Nice.
On the 22nd and 23rd, we'll be in Chicago at the Schomburg Center at the Trinity Health Freedom Conference.
Okay.
Then on September 30th, we're going to be at the Over 50 Fair, which even if you're under 50, you can attend. And then at the end of October, we're looking at presenting at the New Life Expo, which is a phenomenal health and wellness new age expo that we've been at, I'd say, the last 20 years.
Yeah, I've gone to a couple within the last
And
few.
this time especially, they have amazing doctors speaking.
Yeah.
So if we don't exhibit, we'll be sure to attend, but we're hoping to be at that expo as well.
That's great. So this is a movie show. We kind of veered off topic, but it's for a good cause, obviously. What are some of your favorite movies? Just to tie everything together.
Oh, wow. Love Actually. I love
Okay.
that. I love that. Galaxy Quest.
Oh my God.
Because as I said, I'm a big Trekkie fan, and that was
Nice.
pretty much
That's
a
a great
takeoff on
movie, yeah.
that.
It's a fun
And you know, I can't resist weepy movies like The Notebook.
Nope. Okay. So I see a theme here, kind of romantic dramas are your forte, but Galaxy Quest, I'm glad you squeezed that one in there too. So
I did want to mention I do have some videos which do show how the jewelry works.
right, I believe
Can
you mentioned.
we roll
Of
the
course,
videos?
this is a muscle test.
Well, the first video has to do with how the jewelry actually functionally works, how to change it out.
Okay.
And the second has to do with the kinesiology, because you might wonder, okay, this is pretty, does it work?
Yeah.
Well, they have special, they're almost like Geiger counters, but they counter radiation, and where the factory is, for lack of a better word, it's really like a design studio.
Okay.
They're tested every day, and there is not one EMF reading.
Okay.
And then they're also tested, and I can do this too, but I'd love to show the video that the founder does on how we muscle test.
Okay.
So you can see how it works on an individual human.
So let's play the first video.
Great.
And yeah, this is Magnitude. And that's the video for Magnitude. Eileen, can you just tell everybody a little bit about what we just saw?
Well, what we saw were one of the bases, or one or two of the bases, how easy it is to switch out the jewelry, how it takes a heartbeat. And let me tell you, you're not going to lose the jewelry. These magnets are strong. I had to pry it open apart, as you can see. You won't lose them.
Good.
But they're great for switching up your look from a beauty side. And we have ones that are made out of wood, and we have these little ones for guys. Here you can see I made it a woman's version with this pave stone, which, by the way, is only $5.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So it's really an amazing piece of jewelry to have, and you can switch it out. But we also have a video which shows the health side,
Yeah.
so you can justify the purchase.
Art and science. I love it. I love it.
Exactly so.
So here is that video right now.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tracy Diner, and I'm the co-owner of Magnitude Jewelry, along with my partner, artist Candice Loren. We have created a very unique new type of jewelry. It is interchangeable biomagnetic jewelry. What I mean by that is these are interchangeable pieces that come out and snap in, and I'll show you those in a minute. The other part that I'm going to show you is that on the back side we have infrared, negative ion, and germanium, which increase blood flow and increase serotonin. And our magnets are not a normal magnet. Our magnets are a neodymium magnet that protect you from electromagnetic frequencies. What they do is they repel the EMFs that are around your energy space and push them away so they don't affect your nervous system. So I'm going to show you physically how that works. I've been an applied kinesiology specialist for 25 years as well. So I'm going to use our model here. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay? So I'm going to test her to make sure that she's testable first. So hold real strong. Perfect. I'm going to touch you right here. Hold. Good. That's the only place where I should touch her where she weakens for a moment. It's like I shut the electricity off to her body. Now we're going to give her a call and have her hold the phone up to her ear. So go ahead and call her. Answer it. Put it up to your ear. Now, don't let me push down. Hold real strong. When the phone is anywhere near our energy field, and on, in particular, she weakens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tude. These are called tudes. Add a tude to match your attitude. So this tude is going to be the direction it would normally be sitting in our jewelry in our energy field. I'm going to push down. Rock solid. I'm going to take it away, put it behind, hold real strong. Okay, nothing. Hold real strong. Yeah! And again. Nothing. Okay? Thank you. So that actually happens with everybody. When we put our neodymium magnet in your energy field, it closes off and pushes away the EMFs around you. Not only does it do healthy things, but now the fun part of our jewelry is that you can interchange it. So here's an example. So this is actually a diffuser. We take that out. We can actually do this. We can make it, change it up real quickly. Snaps in. And now you have a different outfit, okay, to match. So that's one of our larger pieces. We can actually, this is Solo. Solo does the same thing. Has the infrared, negative ion, and germanium on the back side. Our little tube, this is a tiny tube. Tiny tube with a magnet can come out, snap something else in. It's that fast. Now you can actually match all your outfits, stay healthy, keep the electromagnetic frequencies away. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy our jewelry, that you wear it all the time, leading a healthy life. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
And there you have it, some of the scientific and medical benefits of Magnitude. It's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, again, anything you want to plug, any events coming up?
Well, I just want to tell everybody that when you watch this, and if you come to visit us at any of these events, I'm speaking at several of them on the dangers of EMFs more in detail and tools to combat stress in the workplace, of which electromagnetic frequency overload is one of the dangers. If you come to any of these, you're going to get a special gift. And just to recap where we are, September 15th we'll be at the Melville Marriott at the Gaia Women's Wellness Conference. Saturday and Sunday, September 22nd, 23rd, will be in Chicago at the Schomburg Center. September 30th will be at the Over 50 Fair at the Huntington Hilton. And October 26th through 28th at the New Yorker Hotel at the New Life Expo. And if you'd like for more information, here are some websites you can check out. One is magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl. That's GEMGIRL. Guess who that is? Another one is, again, magnitudejewelry.com/Chiro Gill. That's a chiropractor, and it's CHIROGIL, or tudegirl.com. And if you'd like to talk to a live person, you can call 718-268-6634.
And you know what? I can also post all that information on my Facebook page.
Beautiful.
So everyone can have access to it as well. And yeah, Eileen, I want to thank you so much today. This has been great.
Thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
I just want to encourage people to protect themselves, whether they're in a lovely studio like this, or in their work environment, or even chatting on their cell phone.
Awesome.
Because we're trying to save a life one at a time. We
Yeah.
don't make medical claims. This has not been evaluated by the FDA, just like the breakfast you had this morning has not been validated by the FDA. But as an attorney, I do want to mention that. But come and visit us and see it work for yourself.
Yeah.
And thank you for having
Of
me. I really
course.
appreciate it.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you. And we'll have you on now for the film review segment.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, just hang out and chat some movies.
I'd love
with us.
to. I'd love
That'd be
to.
great. That'd be great.
I'd love to.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with our film review segment, Everyone's a Critic, right after this. And we're back, guys. This is Unger the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, and I have a lovely panel of film critics today. CJ Oakland, hello.
Hello, thank
Welcome.
you for giving me top billing on the lovely cast.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to go the other way, and it's like, and then there's me.
Right,
No.
right. And then we got Mr. Matt Haberman.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. And of course, Eileen Cohen-Reichman.
I'm excited to be here and
Yeah.
continue to sit here.
Our lovely sponsor here for the film review segment. This is great. So we've got two movies to review today, two very different movies. One of which is called Operation Finale, and it's about a small group of special agents who are trying to take down Adolf Eichmann, one of the last surviving Nazi lieutenants. And basically, this takes place in the 50s. They're trying to bring him down. You've got Oscar Isaac, who leads the team. You've got Ben Kingsley, who plays Eichmann. It's an amazing movie. It's really well acted. It's a very important topic too. CJ, what do you think?
I absolutely love this movie. Like, I thought it was a really well done period piece, and especially with things that are happening today in our country, it's interesting to see how it was about these Nazi refugees who left Germany after World War II ended and the Third Reich fell, and they went to Argentina and instantly started saying the same thing. Like, they waited 15 years. The movie takes place in 1960, I believe.
I think it's like late 50s into
I
early
think it's
60s.
1960,
60s?
yeah.
Okay.
So you have like there's a great scene where there's a town hall where they have like the mayor of the town there and a bunch of other like police captains and all these people from Argentina living there. And the Germans who have now come over, moved here, and they're saying, we need to make this country proud, we need to make it great again, we need to get rid of the Jews who are bringing it down. They start saying Heil Hitler. And it's like, they're talking about Argentina the same way they talked about Germany. Like, it doesn't matter where they are, it's just a way of fueling their hatred. And I think that's very well done, considering the things that happened in Charlottesville last year.
Yeah, it's terrible. Matt, what did you think of the movie?
I think it was definitely very well acted. Now, this is just definitely based on a true story.
Yeah.
I think a lot in history has been told, so we know what happens. It involves the capture of Adolf Eichmann
Right.
and how it was done. Now, some things I know, like, it's based on a true story. Some of the things I know wasn't really intact with it, but for the way of how they got him and how he stayed, like there was like those times where they could have actually got busted. It was really risky for how they.
And involved, like really,
involved,
the
how
process
they
in capturing him and keeping him in that safe house, feeding him,
And not wanting to kill him
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the things he's done.
and also what struck me, which was amazing about this movie, they actually kind of gave this former Nazi kind of like a sympathetic vibe. Like
That was one of
it
the
was crazy.
Yeah. That's one of the things I like best about it is they show that even though a man is a Nazi and
Still a
undeniably a monster,
Right.
he can still be a charming, charismatic
Yeah.
person. And that's the problem is you had the people who at the top of they were able to sell this idea to people because they were so outgoing, because they were so charismatic. They were able to make them believe in something that's fascist and against other people because we're not about you. Like, we're not coming for you, we're coming for other people.
Yeah.
So we're here to help you. And that can be very alluring. Like, you see all the other Nazis who were working in Argentina at the time, but they only wanted Eichmann. And one of my favorite parts is that Eichmann tells a joke and one of the Jewish people holding them hostage laughs and then stops, realizes he just laughed at a joke from Adolf Eichmann and walks out of the room. And I'm like, that's such a brilliant moment of acting right there.
Yeah.
And just to put into the movie because he's human, but he's still a monster. And that's what
Right.
makes it more terrifying. It's not like he's just...
It's a gray area.
Yeah,
It's
he's
really-
not like an unrepentant killer. It's
Right.
To him, he thinks he's the hero of his own story.
Right,
Whereas to everyone else, they know what he's really done.
right.
And a lot of them, let's just face it, in those times, they were saying they were just following orders. They felt that they were doing anything wrong. In our society, and even what it is, yes, they have done something wrong. What they've done was horrible, horrible crimes.
Right.
But they will never admit to themselves because they have been so brainwashed.
Like, do they deserve a trial? Like, I don't even think they. I mean, a lot of the characters, like, they don't deserve to be brought to justice. They just can't, kill them. They're terrible,
Well,
terrible people.
there's usually a catharsis in a trial. So trying these people, and like you said before, just because of what's happening in this country, they say unless you learn from history, it's doomed to repeat itself. You never know how close you are to something fascist happening at this point.
Yeah, like
So
I
you're
remember growing
absolutely
up,
right.
you would have groups of there would be neo-Nazis, like people with skinheads who would show up, cause problems, but it's like they weren't a threat. Whereas now we have full-on Nazis, people in Nazi regalia walking through the streets, feeling safe that they can walk out in public and say
Don't
these
they have
things.
Nazi meetups, where they
Yeah.
dress up and
No,
they
yeah,
go
they
to
have
events?
full groups of this. You have groups like the alt-right
Yeah.
where they have no problem using Nazi language, and it's it feels like they're being emboldened by everything that's happening in the country.
It's really disgusting, but
It really is.
yeah, it's like they're idolizing something. So
And that's the problem, is if they had just killed someone like Adolf Eichmann, if they found him and killed him in private,
Yeah.
then that would have been the end of it. But you still have all the other Nazis who were living in Argentina that they can't do anything about. Because they're people living in another country saying what they want, and until they act, it's you don't have much recourse. But if you find the people responsible for these crimes and put them on trial, if you show that these kind of things will be punished, it'll stop other people from wanting to follow in their footsteps. You need to show that this kind of behavior isn't accepted, not just with a show of violence.
Yeah.
It's showing that by rule of law, we are not going to allow these things to stand.
Right, and that's what makes it a
And
great movie.
I think that's what a lot of the human drama was in this movie was, do we want the personal revenge it'll give us, but do we want the, like you said, the catharsis of seeing that these people are on trial for what they've done?
Now, switching gears a little bit, what did you guys think of the acting, Matt?
Oh, the acting was just spot on. I think the cast was incredible.
Yeah, especially you got Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac played the role of
He was the Peter Malkin. Peter Malkin.
Peter Malkin,
Malkin.
the
Great.
one who was the leader of the whole entire mission, the one that captured Adolf Eichmann.
Yeah, he was
And
basically the team leader.
He is the team leader. And I remember I went to Israel and I saw that they had the gloves, the memorial of his gloves, at Yad Vashem.
Huh.
Yad Vashem, displayed there, of how he used to cover him to make sure that he doesn't shout out.
That's crazy. But Oscar Isaac, I think I don't know anything about the real Malcolm, but Oscar Isaac is a great actor. I've loved him in everything. A Most Violent Year. It's a great film.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Star
Star Wars, right. But I think he was underused in those, to be honest. Though they're going to probably come up with Poe, I think, right, CJ?
Possibly they might go with it. They were
Right.
actually planning to kill him in the first movie. Like he was supposed to die
Was he?
after he got Finn off. Yeah, like when they got to the planet, he was supposed to die.
Yeah.
But they loved Oscar Isaac so much, like he was so charismatic and like brought such great performances out of like everyone else working with him that they're like, we have to bring him back. And
Yeah.
they brought him back as a triumphant hero, and he's been here ever
So
since. And
good.
he's one of my favorite characters.
He's actually one of my favorite young working actors right now.
He really is.
He could pretty much do anything, I think. And of course, you've got Sir Ben Kingsley, who plays Eichmann, the quote-unquote sympathetic Nazi. Eileen, you're a fan of Mr. Kingsley?
Oh,
Sir Kingsley?
100%. He was in that movie Dave, which is another favorite of mine.
Okay. Oh yeah, he played one of
With-
the advisors,
He played
right?
the vice president.
Oh, the vice president. Sorry.
And he was just so warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about Sir Ben Kingsley. He can be anybody.
Yeah, he was
and
Gandhi.
He's so convincing, and he makes any character lovable. It seems hard to imagine it. This
Right.
character could be lovable on any level.
Yeah.
But like you said, a human is a human. Even an axe murderer has a heartbeat of humanity in him.
Yeah,
So,
he can be very charismatic, and that's
Yeah.
the problem. Is like you saw how he was able to hold crowds, how he was able to make even the Jewish people holding him hostage like able to question
Yeah.
themselves and what they're doing.
Yeah, it's brilliant acting. Matt, what do you think of Ben Kingsley?
Oh, I think he was a great actor. I liked him in the movie Ender's Game.
That was
Harrison Ford, right?
That was with Harrison Ford.
Based
yeah,
on the
he was
novel?
A very small part, but very interesting. He did a good performance there.
Yeah, he's great. And another Nazi movie, of course, Schindler's List, which is great in that too.
brilliant
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, that
Basically, he was the opposite in that.
Yeah.
Great movie.
became that's crazy how it became for the opposite, like a hero version, and then to this villain in it.
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be an interesting challenge as an
Oh, yeah.
actor, where they say you're going to play Adolf Eichmann, make him likable.
Right.
That is a true testament to an actor, I'd say.
I would also say for the true testament to the actors, how hard it is to put on that uniform in those movies.
That's a good point.
It's like something I would never put on to, even if I was an actor.
Not even for a paycheck.
Not even for
No.
a paycheck, I would never put on a uniform like that,
That's-
ever.
Good point. Great point. And with that, segue into our next movie.
Lighter topic.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a documentary or a dogumentary called Pick of the Litter about 5 seeing eye dogs for the blind who are basically bred. They're from birth. They're trained to be service animals to the blind and to one war veteran in this movie.
Yes.
And basically, it chronicles the life of the puppy to when they become united with their owner, who they help, walk across the street, do different tasks in life, daily routines. And it's just it was a beautiful documentary. I can't stop saying that. That's how they promoted it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's really sweet.
I was about to give you props that was very clever.
No, that's the promotional title. But Pick of the Litter. Matt, let's start with you. I know you have a doggy.
Yes, I just gotta say, first off, this is your first documentary that we have reviewed.
It has. I know. I had to review it. It's a beautiful movie. And
It was. I mean, it was very it was cute. It was very touching, and it's just like how interesting for how the process goes for the training for a guide dog. I couldn't help but cuddling my dog Chewy,
No.
even though I have to say that he has some anxiety, but
No. Chewy, right? What's the breed?
he's a Yorkshire Terrier
Oh, yeah.
Maltese mix.
Cute. Real cute. And yeah.
But for the ways for some regular families, they take care of it, they start the training. But even if I was to do that, I feel like you can't be so close to that to the dog, because they'll take, if you're not doing a good job for raising it or
Yeah.
even doing the trainings right, they're going to take it away from you. They're going to find another person, because the ultimate goal is to have the dog be a guide dog
With someone who really needs it. Yeah.
with someone who really needs it. And some of them don't make the cut.
Right. They're cut from the program if they're not up to snuff, as they say. Eileen, you have a dog, I believe?
I have a little Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
Sadly, all that money on training was a donation. But I have a friend, for example, who has a rescue. And one of the first few days they had this dog. The dog's name is Sophie. Her spouse has an issue sometimes with blood sugar regulation. And the dog started to cry at some point. And
Dogs can cry?
the dog started to cry.
Okay.
Oh, they
like,
can.
okay. I know they
and
whimper.
it was because his blood
Okay.
sugar was dropping. And with some diabetics, they can drop into a coma, they could pass out. So it's incredible what dogs are used for, you know, the bomb sniffing dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the dogs, they say now, can test the odor of cancer in urine.
Wow.
Because dogs' olfactory sensors are 200 times stronger than ours.
Hmm.
And I do remember we used to have a dog and a cat, especially with the hearing. And there was one time we were all sitting watching TV, my kids, there were 4 of us, and we didn't hear anything. And the dog and the cat had turned towards the door, and 30 seconds later, the bell rang.
Wow.
So they certainly have their uses.
That's cool. CJ, you have any pets, any doggies?
I used to have a dog, a German Shepherd named Blaze, who unfortunately passed a few years ago. But I have 2 cats now. One of them is a literal rescue animal.
Oh.
Like my brother pulled him out of a building that was on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, he works as an EMT. He was working in the Bronx at the time. There was a fire in a storage area, like with a bunch of shipping containers and just like a storage area. And the firefighters found a little cat like in a room with a bunch of smoke, like trying to get out, couldn't find its way. So the firefighters pulled it out, they put it in a box and handed it to him because he's just waiting on the scene as an EMT. So he's like, "Here, watch this." And the cat ran out and like ran up onto his arm and like clawed on, and they couldn't get the cat off. So my brother's just like, "You're coming home with me." And I just got a text from him that night saying, "We have a cat now." And of course, the cat is named Smokey.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I love it. So, yeah, Matt.
Going back to where you're saying you asked that dog can cry. The first night that I got my dog Chewy was really, really tough because he was howling, crying the whole entire night. We got him because our friends'
He wasn't used to
family
the surroundings.
wasn't used to the surroundings. Our friend's family couldn't take care of him anymore. Not because they didn't want to. It's where they moved to. They didn't have. They moved to a policy where they can't have so many dogs, which they had. So they had to give up some dogs. So we got Chewy out of it. The whole night I did not sleep because he was howling and crying.
Oh, how old is he?
He is now 10 years old.
10
Oh,
years
wow.
old.
He was homesick, but now he has a new daddy.
That's great. So, from a filmmaker's point of view, CJ, what did you think of Pick of the Litter?
I really enjoyed the idea of Pick of the Litter, like how it starts with them as puppies and then just a litter of 5 dogs and showing how they go to one family and another. And like you were saying, it's definitely an emotional experience where you're raising this dog, you know, you have to give away. But they were also saying how like there are a lot of families where they've raised several dogs before, and I remember just one woman was listing off like this puppy is helping this person now, and this puppy's helping this person. Like they know where the dogs go to. They know they're going to a good purpose, that they're helping people, and even if they do get a career change and like don't become guide dogs themselves, they'll either be taken in by another family or help other groups like diabetics or soldiers with PTSD. They were going to. So
It's crazy the way they train these dogs.
oh
from
yeah,
birth.
it's very interesting. Like,
Really?
I loved watching the testing.
I had no idea that it was so in depth, like so.
I knew it
this
had to be. Like
process.
I used to work at the airport, and I know that a lot of people with guide dogs, they were extremely well trained. Like you can see like the animals that help the blind are very intelligent and very diligent about how they do it, and are able to like take people onto escalators and putting them onto like the trains from the
Yeah.
airport where I was working. Like it's very incredible work to watch them working. Like they are amazing animals.
What the thing I love, they're walking in the street, and the dog stops in front of a car. Like they know. Like, I just thought that was
yeah, they see
so
the car
simple.
coming and know what's going to stop.
Yeah, they know not to go there. Just stop, and yeah, it's really great.
And in ways how it is like the dogs are smart. Like, okay, the dog will disobey the command just for the safety of
yeah,
the person that
right.
they're serving.
Taking a bullet first, right? Like
Yeah.
the Secret Service.
It's crazy. The relationship between man and dog. And I think there's a new movie now called Alpha, which also explores that a bit.
Yes, I don't know how historically accurate it is.
It's not
I can't
exactly
speak to
a
that,
documentary.
but it's basically the first A Boy and His Dog story, where it's a boy.
Like they're like
a boy's like,
they're like
goes on a
cavemen.
hunt with the family.
Yeah.
It's about Stone Age era technology where
Right.
he's injured and he's separated from the rest of his group when
Right.
they're out on a hunt. And there's an injured wolf, and he nurses it back to health, and the two of them work together. And it's like the idea of the first person domesticated dog, which I doubt it happened exactly that way, where he's the only one to realize it, but
It's a little
it definitely,
dramatized.
yeah, it seems like it would be a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I think I'd skip that
I
one.
haven't seen it.
It's a little bit like that movie A Dog's Purpose.
Okay.
Which,
where it's shot with
there were
different
7
generations.
different generations of a dog.
Right.
A dog was reincarnated as a different type of breed, and one time was a police dog and
Okay.
was killed in the line of duty.
Okay.
It was a great movie, except why did they have to kill
Yeah,
the dogs every time?
that's what I heard about that movie. Is that
Really?
you're just watching dogs dying over and over again. I'm like, that's
Take
so
your
sad.
kids.
No.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other good dog movies.
Max was another good dog.
Max. Oh,
Oh,
that's
how
the,
about-
the military dog.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Who saved the day at the end?
Right.
And what was the movie? Oh, Marley.
Marley and Me.
Marley and Me
That
was-
one was very sad.
Owen Wilson. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, it was very cute. It was light, but it was sad at the end.
For some reason, dog movies in general are very emotional.
Because I think they kill them off.
Right,
They shouldn't
all the
do
time.
that.
You got to think
Let's
about is
just,
that
let's
dogs are thought of more as like temporary animals. Like you can form such a deep connection to them, but their lifespan is so
Right.
small compared to us. So I think a lot of
Right.
movies are talking about that, where it's like we know like this dog's not going to live with you your whole life, but it's the impact it has on you. But it is very sad
Yeah.
that they keep showing it.
But there is a hopeful moment in the end of Homeward Bound. It's just where they get reunited with the kids and the family. That was just beautiful. I don't know. It wasn't sad at all.
I just remember I was working in a Blockbuster when Marley and Me came out, and one of the managers like put it on the TVs because they hadn't seen it, so they wanted to watch it. It's just like, oh, it's Owen Wilson and like dog running around, and then the ending happens, and I just hear people around the store start crying. Like everyone was like walking around looking at movies, and then they all just kind of stopped. There's like monitors on the wall, and they're all just kind of watching, and I'm like, this was not a good movie to put on.
Not there.
Matt, any experience with the emotional movie moments? Kind of segueing into other human stories.
Well, just I mean, we just said for Marley and Me, and
Okay,
just
that was pretty.
very.
You know, I've actually never seen Marley and Me.
Oh.
But I already know what's going to happen, obviously, but whatever.
Well, we spoiled it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. This is actually a spoiler-free zone, even though the movie came out like 10 years ago. but
I think another emotional one for
Yeah.
me was I was in the theater's experience. Actually, it's a very heavy movie. It wasn't about dogs. It was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
oh god,
Oh,
another
yes, that
Nazi movie. Jeez.
That was a fantastic
Yeah,
movie.
it was
that
really
was
good.
a fantastic movie, but it
That's-
very heavy.
Yeah.
I remember like I was in the theater. One of the things that just really shocked me now was just like doing this because I just couldn't believe it. It was like in the scene where the boy was helping out in the house.
Wait, so it's the son of a German soldier who befriends the Jewish boy behind the fence.
Yes.
And they like meet.
Where the boy is
Yeah.
so young, like he doesn't understand what a concentration camp is. They don't explain it to him. So he just sees people in pajamas playing behind the fence and he wants to get to know them.
Yeah.
Yet he was still seeing like all the propaganda, all the lies of the videos, like how the camps were into their mind.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
The innocence of children in that situation is like,
an extremely well done movie.
yeah, for sure. CJ, some emotional moments in film that have stood out to you.
I don't want to say another Nazi movie, but Life is Beautiful definitely
Oh, gosh,
was an amazing film that really touched me because it was a movie about World War II and the Nazis, but it wasn't about it so much.
Yeah.
It was about, like, the first half of the movie is one of the best romantic comedies I've ever seen in my life. Where it's just about him falling in love with a woman and becoming with her, and then showing that their romance takes place in the lead up of Nazis taking over Italy in World War
Yeah.
II. And unfortunately goes into that. But it's like, that's why it's so beautiful to me, is it's not just a movie about the horrible events that happens, it's about how life was beautiful, like what life was for them, and them trying to survive through
Yeah.
it.
How life is, it's all about the humanity in that situation. It's like almost impossible to look at the hopefulness, but
Yeah.
they managed to do it.
I
And-
can't say it without spoilers, but Infinity War, I was surprised with how emotional I got towards the end of that movie.
Well,
that was very well
when we
done.
reviewed that was actually a spoiler. It was open to spoilers when we reviewed that.
No,
so.
when we first were going to review it, you said like, "Oh, we'll like talk about spoilers on the show," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "You hadn't seen it yet," and I'd seen it.
Right.
It's like we can't talk about spoilers. And then it's like
was
after you
touchy.
saw it, you sent me a message. It's like, "Yeah, we won't do spoilers."
You have to understand like movies, like,
Yeah.
all the superhero movies, all the Star Wars movies.
Right.
They're all open to spoilers.
Yeah. Well, I think a week after the release, then it's open.
Yeah,
to
it's like
spoilers.
after a little bit you can talk about it,
Yeah.
but it's like I still don't want to say it in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. But there's
Yeah.
definitely like one death in that movie that stood out where that almost makes me cry every time I see it
Oh, I know.
because it's
Yeah.
so emotional.
I know what you're
It's
talking
so
about.
well done.
Eileen, have you seen the new Avengers?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
So
okay.
you can spoil
So
it
we can
for everybody
spoil it a
else.
little bit. Are you talking about Peter Parker?
Yes, Peter Parker and Iron Man having their scene
Oh my God.
is so well done
Yeah.
and so surprising to see in a superhero film.
Yeah.
Like, you think superhero films are just like fluff, popcorn pieces, but this one had real emotional depth to it. I was really impressed.
Yeah, the acting was pretty decent too. Eileen, are you a big superhero movie buff?
Oh, I am. As a matter of fact, when I lived with my kids across the street from a movie theater, I wanted to be the cool mom. So I took all 4 of them, usually Thursday night at midnight, to the new superhero openings.
Nice.
And I was the one tired on Friday, but they were energized. And the movies were always so great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Other than Galaxy Quest, though, any ones that stand out to you?
Oh, wow. The early Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, may he rest in peace.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Superman 2 I love, where
Love that.
Superman falls in love, you
Yeah.
know. And
Lois Lane.
I remember that line at the end, I never saw garbage eat garbage before. When he goes back to beat up, not a good message, the bully that
Oh, yeah, in the
terrorized
diner,
him when he
in the coffee
lost,
shop.
right, when he
Right.
lost his powers.
Right.
And as you know, anything Star Trek, though I
Nice.
do prefer the Bill Shatner, Leonard Nimoy
Oh, sure.
movies.
Now, I know they did a Star Trek con a few years. Did they do that? Is that a yearly thing?
No, I believe it is, but this was the one I think you're referring to where Bill Shatner spoke
Yeah,
was the 50th anniversary release of Star Trek.
Oh, it was the 50th anniversary.
And it's hard to believe that's like more than 50 years old. Well,
Yeah.
if you watch it and you look at the effects, you can believe it. But just the passage of time, and Shatner was hysterical.
That's
he was
great.
just so funny, and he's in his 80s.
He was actually, Will Shatner was at Eternal Con, which was held at the Nassau Coliseum,
Oh, wow.
Long Island.
That was a few weeks ago, or a few months ago.
Oh,
That
I
was a few
missed
months
it.
ago. That was
Yeah.
in July
Okay.
or early June.
Yeah.
Around that time, that's when Eternal Con is.
Matt, are you a big? Are you a Trekkie at all?
I'm not big. I've seen the movies. I do know that Patrick Stewart is coming back to the new
Oh yeah, the
Star Trek
Oh,
series.
wow.
that's cool. And Discovery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
In some kind of way.
He's great. I love him. I think, I just grew up on Next Generation. That's about it. Maybe Deep Space Nine, but other than that, CJ, are you?
More Star Wars. I never
Yeah.
was really into Star Trek, but I saw like episodes from the original series, and I love like the message of it, like how the sci-fi was written. It was very well done.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time, I'd say.
You know, there's a new show, The Orville. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's
That's
sort of
what Seth MacFarlane.
Yes.
Right, Seth MacFarlane, who I love, so brilliant. And besides the show being very funny and sort of a takeoff on Star Trek,
Yeah.
it has really good messages each week, and I hear that might be coming back, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I do love Seth MacFarlane. Except I didn't like his Western. He did a Western film.
Million Ways to Die in the
Yeah,
West.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that
I
could have
didn't
been
like
so
that.
much better.
Yeah, I thought it could have been a bit more. The plot was a little all over
Yeah,
the place. It was a
right.
bit more to service of jokes. Like I like Ted was very well done because it
Ted-
wasn't just a funny movie, but it was also like the way it was shot. The cinematography was very well done.
Yeah, and the
for
special
what
effects
you
on
would
it.
have expected for that kind of comedy.
Yeah. Did you guys see Ted 2 or
I
I
did.
did.
was it better, worse?
It was okay. Like if
Yeah.
you like Ted, you'll like this one. It's not as good.
I mean, I've said this before in previous shows. I really don't like Mark Wahlberg. I can't stand him. He's not.
Not even in Daddy's Home?
I didn't see that.
I watched Daddy's Home for maybe a few minutes along with my wife, and was like, turn it off. Like those kinds of movies, like I can understand those kind of movies, like
Yeah.
Daddy's Home, Meet the Parents.
Well, Meet the
like-
Parents was good.
Oh, I like Meet the
The
Parents.
first two. I didn't see the
Right.
Little
Oh,
Fockers.
Well, Meet the Fockers was with
Meet the
Barbra
Fockers.
Streisand and
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
That was
they
good
were
casting.
hysterical.
Yeah.
But those kind of those awkward, still kind of disaster movies. There's I don't know if those are
No, not
really
into it.
But if you were talking about with A Million Ways to Die in the West, I love my favorite line from that movie. People die at the fair.
Yeah. That was in the trailer too. Okay. Now speaking of westerns, we've got a few minutes. Favorite westerns?
Oh, wow, it'd have to be True Grit.
Oh.
I'm a big John Wayne fan.
That was his first and only Oscar, I think. He won for that.
I used to go with my dad,
Okay.
who sadly is not working the pond anymore, but he was such a big John Wayne fan, so every John Wayne we saw together. So it was great. And
The
I thought
ultimate
he
man's
was
man.
Pretty good.
CJ, favorite westerns?
Honestly, like it's hard to pick among the westerns. I would say High Noon is one of my favorites just for how well it's done as a story.
Okay.
And also the fact that when that movie came out, John Wayne hated it. Like he railed against it in the press, saying like this is not a western, it's not a man's movie. It's like he was basically calling it almost like a communist movie, like it's un-American because it's about a sheriff where the town completely abandons him and no one wants to help him.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that's not what would happen. Everyone would rally and shoot the people. And it's like, no, that's not really what would happen, John Wayne. I really enjoy High Noon for the performances, but also
Yeah.
just the spaghetti westerns were very good. Like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Fistful of Dollars is probably the best knockoff of Akira Kurosawa's film.
Seven Samurai?
No, Seven Samurai got turned into Magnificent Seven.
Ah, okay.
I think it was it Yojimbo or I can't remember the name of it, but I love that movie that Akira Kurosawa did about lone samurai comes into town, fights his two factions, and then he turned it into Fistful of Dollars.
Okay.
So many of his movies get turned into westerns from Akira Kurosawa because he just makes good movies.
Yeah, true.
I think there's a third one in there too, but I can't remember.
Can't think of it right now. Matt, favorite westerns?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh.
Well, first off, I haven't really been watching that many westerns. My wife has told she loves westerns and also is a big John Wayne fan. But I'm probably going to be getting into this kind of argument at the moment, but I do think my favorite western is Back to the Future Part 3.
I was just about to say, hang on, I amend my answer. Back to the Future Part 3.
Best answer ever, Matt.
I was just thinking in my head, it's like, oh yeah, Back to the Future Part 3. I should say that. And then you say it, I'm like,
It's
good
like
on
staring
That's
you
good
right in the
taste.
face, too.
I
Mary
know.
Steenburgen is in that one.
Yeah, she plays
She's
Doc's
amazing,
girlfriend
yes.
in that. Yeah.
It's and it even said that it is a western. I don't care if
It is a
anyone says
western.
Right.
It is a western, a sci-fi thriller western.
Right.
And
It's a sci-fi movie disguised as a western, or a western
Yeah.
disguised as a
Right.
sci-fi movie.
It's
Either
sci-fi
way.
characters who just live in a Western.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well done with the characters and like what it is. It's completely Western themed.
Because, okay, the first one takes place in the 50s primarily. Second one, they jumped around all over. Part 3, yeah, they're
Part
just in
3
the
is
West.
fully just, they wanted to make a Western.
Yeah.
They made a Western.
I think
and love it.
Zemeckis has said that that was like
Yeah.
his dream or something like that he wanted to do a Western.
And it was
yeah.
just
And he
just
did.
awesome. I wasn't, he put in like the joke like, oh, I'm gonna be Clint Eastwood.
What kind of a name is that? My
What
favorite,
kind of stupid name is that?
My favorite part is when they're at the fair and they have like the standoff when
Buford Mad Dog
yeah,
Cannon?
Mad Dog Tannen is about to pull out a gun. He's just like, Marty McFly runs up, lighten up, dude. And you just see them all kind of look at each other. He just goes, those are mighty strong words.
Run.
I don't know what they mean, but they're strong.
Oh my God, yeah. So that segues into one of my favorite movies ever, well, favorite trilogies ever, the Back to the Future franchise. Oh my God. Eileen, are you a fan?
Love it. Love Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Michael J. Fox is
Oh,
amazing.
he's amazing.
Especially the way he dealt with his disease and covered it up. And
Yeah,
still,
during the third movie, I think he found out
he
in
had to
1990.
take breaks.
Yeah.
And he
Something.
never let it get in the way of his performance.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He was at a few cons recently, I think in Chicago and I think another one in Canada. I couldn't go, but I'd love to meet him. Like, he's on my list. Top 5 celebrities to meet.
Oh, he's an incredibly nice man in person.
met him?
Like, I met him when I was a kid. Me and my brother did like background work as like extras, and we were in an
cool.
episode of I think it was Spin City was the show we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing as kids in a Little League game,
Oh,
and
wow.
where like he was coaching it or something like that. Like his character was throwing the pitch.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, like we
You're
were in that
in
scene.
Spin City.
Yeah, I'm in Spin City. I think it's my brother has more of a prominent part where like he's throwing the pitch, like the mayor. It's not Michael J. Fox's character, but someone's
Oh,
like
Barry
throwing a
Bostwick.
pitch. Yeah, where he throws it and it like rolls on the ground and like the kid stares at it. I think that's my brother, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen it so long. I just remember that we were there and we got to meet
How have
him,
I
and I'm
not-
like, oh, this is the guy from Back to the Future,
How
and
have
he
I
signed
not
our
heard
hats.
this before? This is
Yeah.
amazing. I
Such
need
a
to
nice
see
guy.
this episode now.
Right. You have to review
I've
that.
been in a bunch
Yeah.
of things. I was in like Stepmom. I got to meet Susan Sarandon is the nicest woman. I love her so much.
Cool.
She
All right.
was fantastic to meet.
All right. Matt, have you been in any movies?
I haven't been in any movies, but I do remember this when I was at summer day camp, we did a trip to TV studio where they did the tapings of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
That's awesome.
That's
we were
awesome.
just in the audience for like part of the for only the end game where you put the, I guess like the sensors like on the countries that they light up
Nice.
to how to catch Carmen. But then after that it was like kind of like the a cappella group. They sing the Carmen
yeah.
Sandiego
Great
theme
theme.
song, and then we were all dancing on the stage and everything. So
You're in it? Did
I was in it. Yeah, I was.
I want to see that episode now.
I don't remember. I think it had to be during 1995.
Really? So you were 9, 10?
I was like 9 or 10 years old
Wow,
at the
wow.
time.
That's crazy.
I
That's
wasn't
awesome.
in any movies or anything like that.
Okay.
And the reason like I've been of anything close to being in a movie was this year touring the Warner Brothers studios in Los Angeles.
That's great. Cool. And speaking of LA, I think we might be going next summer, maybe, for Ghostbusters Fest. It's in July of next year, where a bunch of ghost heads, that's what we call them, congregate in LA, and we just basically do these events. I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on exactly?
I don't know what's going on exactly.
I think we're just going to meet up and
I think it's to
Be
meet up. I
Ghostbusters.
know that there should be some appearances by some Ghostbusters actors.
Yeah.
Probably Ernie Hudson,
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd,
my God.
Ivan Reitman.
Yep.
I would think is the most definite because he's the one that's helped putting it all together.
Right.
But for what I think we know from our friend Dan Hoffman,
Dan Hoffman, Shaggy GB, good guy.
I think he knows more. I think
Yeah.
it's like going to tour some of like the outside places, like where they shot from the inside of the Ghostbusters firehouse, which is also located.
Oh, the
off
interior
The
shots.
interior
Oh, my
shots.
God. Yes. That's going to be good. CJ, you're a casual Ghostbusters
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I
okay.
enjoyed it.
Okay. What do you think of the new movie?
The new movie, I enjoyed parts of it. It's definitely comedy's changed from when it was shot in the 80s to now.
Just a bit. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing I go on a lot is that it's not that comedies are worse, it's just that they're shot differently and it's hard to compare them. But
Interesting.
also the new movie, the fact that they had to spend half the movie trying to reintroduce the idea of being Ghostbusters just shot them in the foot so hard that they couldn't do anything new with it. I think if they, like, I think it was a studio decision where they said, like, you have to do it like this. If it was able to be a continuation where, because they got cameos from the original Ghostbusters,
From all
to
of
put them
them.
in different roles, and
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like,
Yeah.
if they had been able to say, like, this was a team and now these are new scientists studying what they've done, but the Ghostbusters are defunct, and they find a way to, like, fund it and be able to start the team up again and have to do this, that could have worked.
Right. Well, they were gonna. I think there were rumors of doing that in the '90s with like Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, but it just
Yeah, that
didn't
could have
happen.
been a good way of doing a new team. But
Yeah.
pay reference to what
Sure.
happened before, but deciding to do it again, they literally spend the first half of the movie just explaining everything we've seen in the old movies.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're not showing us anything new. There's nothing to grasp onto.
Right.
And even when they did kind of bring in new things, it didn't really feel like that much of a payoff after waiting so long.
It was off. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Some movies, if you look like if they were done today or redone today, it would be so different. I
really
remember
would.
watching Ace Ventura. I watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah.
And for some of the scenes that I've seen in it, if that was redone today,
Yeah.
that movie would be completely different.
Really?
Or there'd be no way to do it at all.
Well,
Yeah, like a new Ace Ventura would be pretty awful.
right. Starring Dax Shepard.
If you had the whole,
That's actually who I thought of.
Oh,
If
yeah, I
thought
know,
movie
I know.
A new Ace Ventura would probably be that.
I
you put in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura, like the whole thing when he finds out that Einhorn is Ray Finkel.
Yeah,
like,
like-
how he did that.
Because
There
that's a
is
move.
no-
That's a thing that wouldn't fly today because that's such a transphobic thing to do. Like, if you look back on it, it's like because it's a comedy, you don't think about it. But if you look back on like how they treat the idea of someone transitioning to a woman, where they do it as a plot device made for comedy, where everyone's horrified and disgusted at it,
Yeah.
it's like that's really kind of fucked up. Like, it really is. Like,
Right.
it works for what it was for the time, that it's only done for comedy, but it's not a great thing to see. Like, there was a lot of like humor about things that really just aren't appropriate today because they're groups that weren't represented and were just kind of used as jokes. But now you have films where you're able to show more respectful performances.
Right.
Kind of, it's getting there.
Gotcha.
But like something like that definitely wouldn't fly today.
No. So Eileen, what do you think of the new Ghostbusters movie?
I didn't like it. I
No.
felt it was off, and
Yeah.
I know as the only female on the set, I should be championing the women, but it was like they put too much of an expectation on these actors, the females, to be even funnier. And sometimes you don't need to remake the original.
Yeah.
I just thought it just missed it.
Well,
they were almost like trying too hard.
Trying to recapture the light in the bottle.
Instead of
Yeah.
shining light on their own individual
Yeah.
performances.
It was just a disappointment all the way through.
Yeah, like
unfortunately.
it's kind of a fluke that the first Ghostbusters was as good as it was. Like,
Right.
there's a lot of ways that movie could have gone wrong and been completely forgotten, but it just happened to work out really well. There were great performances. It came together well. And then trying to do the new one, like you said, they put a lot of expectations on the actresses, and there was a lot of people against it, like because one, the idea of remaking a movie isn't great, so it's not just that because it's a female cast. But there was a good portion of people who were angry just because it was a female cast, which is something we've seen coming up again, which is just unfortunate.
Yeah,
so.
very unfortunate.
It's protecting the nostalgia of that movie. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of the fans were. They didn't want the nostalgia from the movie to be destroyed.
I hear you. Well, hopefully we'll get another Ghostbusters movie that won't be so terrible. But we'll see. So, guys, we only have like a few seconds left. CJ, any plugs?
I finally made a Twitter at CJ Oakland.
Good.
Yeah, because every week you ask me if I have something to plug. I don't. I don't have any kind of social media.
I'm hopeful for.
So I'm like, screw
yeah.
it. I made a Twitter, and I'm like, I'm going on under the radar. And I'm like, I'm not following anyone. I don't have any followers. There's no way no one knows this. I look at my phone 2 seconds later. My brother has liked it and retweeted it. And I'm like,
Nice.
how did you even find me?
There you go.
And
You
I
got a
don't
fan.
know how.
You got a fan already. That's awesome. Matt, anything?
I really don't have
I know I always ask you guys,
but if it's anything, follow New York City Ghostbusters.
yes, awesome. And Eileen, you.
Well, I would just invite people to stop by any of those shows.
Yeah.
One at Huntington on the 15th, Chicago. Come visit us at the Schomburg. Or if you happen to be further out on Long Island at the Over 50 Fair or at the New Life Expo, please visit. And if you want more information, it's magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or tudegirl.com or 718-268-6634 if you want to talk to a person and ask questions. So thank you for having
I'm going to
me.
post that on my Facebook page as well. And yeah, guys, I want to thank you so much today. This has been CJ Oakland, Matt Haberman, Eileen Cohen-Reichman, our
Thank
new
you for
sponsor.
having us.
Thank you. And yeah, I've been your host, Randy Unger, and we'll see you next week on Unger the Radar. Thanks so much, guys.